Thank you. It is 7 o'clock, so I'm calling this 16th regular meeting of the Governing Board to order. And I would appreciate it if we would all rise. And Ms. Minnick, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May we have roll call, please?
Mrs. Matura? Here. Mrs. Greenberg?
Here.
Mrs. Bacon? Here. Mrs. Brown and Mrs. Case are absent.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval agenda. Dr. Lee.
Thank you, President Greenberg. Items approved by consent will not come up for discussion during the meeting, but will be approved when the agenda is adopted. This is possible since members of the governing board received the agenda along with backup materials at least 24 hours prior to the meeting and have had time to review and consider all items. Prior to the agenda being adopted, members of the governing board or audience may ask that an item be removed from the consent agenda and brought to the floor for discussion at the appropriate place on the agenda. I would like to offer the agenda as posted.
Thank you. Does any member of the board wish to move anything from the consent agenda? Does any member of the audience? Seeing none, Mrs. Bacon, may we have a motion, please?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We have an agenda. Next is governing board statements. Mrs. Bacon?
I just want to recognize that May 3rd to 7th is Teacher Appreciation Week. And certainly we appreciate all teachers. We appreciate all of our staff, support staff, classroom teachers, and everyone in between. But I think this year we have to also honor our community members who have served in some ways as teachers during the pandemic. So I just want to thank everyone for what they've done to make this year as good as it could be, given the circumstances we were working under. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bacon. I think there's going to be many opportunities to recognize our community and our teachers in the upcoming appreciation weeks. I'd also like to thank the district for once again supporting professional development for us as board members. The Arizona School Board Association is in the midst of its equity conference once again, and this was day one, and there were some, extraordinary presentations, and I think just a number of things that will help our continuing discussion with equity here in the district. And we have day 2 tomorrow, and Dr. Lee and I get to present tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. But again, just want to thank the district for continuing support of professional development. And that concludes governing board statements. So next on the agenda is awards and recognitions, and I will turn it over to Dr. Corson.
Good evening, President Greenberg, governing board members, Dr. Lee, members of cabinet, and attendees. Tonight we have 2 employee recognitions to share with you. Tonight's first award is the Paradise Valley Education Support Professional of the Month. PVEA President, Ms. Susan Schuberg-Sheep, will make the presentation.
Good evening, President Greenberg, Governing Board, Dr. Lee, and Cabinet. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight to present the PVA props to Mariah Barber from Roadrunner. Her colleagues say she's incredibly capable at whatever she sets her mind to, and that she's always willing to help out when needed. Her original nomination read that Mariah consistently goes above and beyond for her students and fellow staff. She runs a social skills circle with her students to increase relationships, which allows her to help them persevere through any of the multiple sections of math that she teaches. On campus, she regularly puts in the effort to help staff complete tasks to ensure campus success. As a Boys Town trainer, she is always regularly available to ensure the campus behavior program is running with fidelity and is always available to help staff members understand the programs to ensure consistency for the many students who call our school home. Although she has only been in PVUSD for what is becoming her 6th year, she has made a major impact on both students and staff alike who enjoy the pleasure of becoming part of her world. She's also training to become an administrator, and I hope we get to keep her and have her as part of this district for as long as she wants to be here. I am so proud to be Mariah's colleague in Paradise Valley, and I'm happy to give her the award that represents professionals recognizing other professionals' success. Thank you. And her principal is here tonight, too.
Our next recognition is for the Paradise Valley Education Support Professional of the Month. PVSEA President, Mr. Sean Webster, will make the presentation.
Good evening, President Greenberg, Governing Board, Dr. Lee, Cabinet, and guests. Tonight, the Paradise Valley Support Employee Association is excited to present the April ESP of the Month to Susan Sherrill, Distance Learning Manager at Community Education. Susan and family are watching from home tonight. Here are just a few things her coworkers had to say about her. Susan is an amazing coworker who does not hesitate to pitch in when assistance is needed. I know Susan will always be someone front and center requesting a task. Susan brings many strengths to our team. She has a kind heart and wants students to have access to all programs she works to ensure her program is strong and equitable. While having a great eye for detail and helping others is important to Susan, her kindness is what stands out. She will check in on staff and see how they are doing and anything she can do to assist them. She will send an email or a text of just appreciation. She is someone who will quickly make others feel valued and supported. I am thankful to call her a friend and a colleague. Susan is someone who you can count on. She is knowledgeable in so many different areas of community ed that she is the best teammate you could ask for. Her willingness to jump in and help solve issues and collaborate is refreshing. Susan sees the entire picture, which is necessary when trying to find solutions. These are just some of the few amazing things they had to say about Susan. Once again, congratulations, Susan.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is call to the public, and we do have a few cards. I've got these just in alphabetical order, and I think we do. And I just want to remind people when I call you up that items not listed on the agenda may be brought to the governing board's attention under this section of the agenda. But due to Arizona open meeting law, the governing board cannot discuss or take any action on items that are not listed on the agenda. So we ask also that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes if you're speaking as an individual, or 5 minutes if you are the authorized spokesperson representing an organization. And just in case anybody's not timing themselves, Ms. Chisholm will hold up the red folder at how long? At 10 seconds. So thank you very much. And first we have Jason Baglet.
Good evening, board. I am the father of 2 students in the PV schools, one freshman at Shadow Mountain and one 8th grader at Shea Middle School. And I had the distinct pleasure of watching my son play tennis fairly recently here in athletics. And the reason I'm commenting today is because regarding the mask mandate, and my hope that you all vote to, if not eliminate the mask mandate for the students, at least allow for some discretion, some judgment, and decision-making on the students' power. As I was watching my son play tennis, it was probably 3 weeks ago. Regrettably, there weren't too many fans there, but it is what it is. And when I arrived, I set up my chair. I was no closer than 50 feet from the nearest person. And I was approached by PV staff and asked to put a mask on. And it made me wonder, where has common sense gone? And I recognize that it's longer than 3 minutes can take to talk about how various lives, various families, various people have been impacted by COVID, without a doubt. But we are a year in, vaccinations are happening. Hopefully numbers are coming down. And it would seem to me that now is the time to start moving in that common sense direction. I felt like common sense had been lost in that moment for me. And had I been told, hey, if you need a mask, put one on. If that person over there needs a mask, they can put one on, social distance, whatever it is, I would have felt fine about it. Same way with the students. If someone wants to wear a mask, if a teacher needs to wear a mask, great. If students decide I'm going to make that judgment on my own, that I'm healthy, don't need it, don't want it, whatever the case may be, I guess I'm hoping that your judgment is that they deserve that discretion, that common sense. And so I hope you make a reasoned decision on that.
Thank you very much. Next is Summer Baglet.
Good evening. I have 3 children. One is in high school. The other one will be in high school this coming year. So I'm speaking more to the teens at this point, and the fact that we have kids who are watching us very closely and what we're doing. Okay. It appalls me that I have to wear this to speak and advocate for my children. But I'm doing it. Okay. And they're watching me do this tonight. I find it very interesting that September 3rd, 2020, you decided to take on the subject of masks, that you would make the decision. It wouldn't be the governor, it wouldn't be the CDC, it wouldn't be anything else, but you, as a board, would take that on. But yet, as I sit here, nobody has a medical degree, nobody has any kind of medical input, but yet you want to supersede other input and other authority. And I find that appalling as someone in the medical community, as a parent. So I reviewed your specific duties. I don't see anything there about medical policy, budgets, purchases, curriculum, etc. I do see in your code of ethics, however, the very bottom, always that your first and greatest concern must be the educational welfare of the students. I don't really see anything in here about medical suggestions. Since I do have 2 teens, and they're sitting here tonight, I would like to point out, and maybe you're unaware of what the first, second, third, fourth, fifth leading cause of death for ages 10 to 24, 12 to 18. I don't know if anyone knows those. The second leading cause of death, which we'll see when the numbers come out for 2020 and 2021, is suicide. And I feel like that is not being addressed. The emotional, psychological impact that this is having on our kids, that, with all due respect, you wanted the power, but with great power comes great responsibility, and you have that responsibility. More teenagers and young adults die from suicide than from cancer, heart disease, AIDS, birth defects, stroke, pneumonia, flu, chronic lung disease combined. Combined. Why are we not addressing this? It's appalling. Each day in our nation, and the numbers are much higher because we do not have the recent numbers, on average, there's 3,703 attempts. Grades 9 to 12, right there. Right there. I hope that you consider that as we move forward. And I would just like to ask the question, when is it enough?
Next is Lisa Farr.
It's been enough. It's long overdue. I am frustrated that masks are not even on the agenda. We see 2 board members not even present. This is very disturbing. Other school districts have already lifted the mandates. The executive order has been rescinded. There is no law now that our kids have to wear masks, but you choose to continue to impose your liberal agenda and politics onto our children, and it's enough. It is enough. Parents want you to keep the politics out of the classroom. Stop. We've had enough. Parents have rights. We have a Bill of Rights, and I feel like I need to refresh your memory on this over and over again. ARS 1601, the liberty of parents to direct the upbringing, education, health care, and mental health of their children is a fundamental right. ARS 1602, all parental rights are reserved to a parent of a minor child without obstruction or interference from the state, any political subdivision of the state, any other governmental entity, and other institution, including it states that we have the specific right to make healthcare decisions for our minor children. And it says, unless otherwise required by law, that these rights of parents and minor children shall not be limited or denied. You are denying us that right. We deserve the right to make the health decisions for our children. We put the teachers, they've all had the opportunity to be vaccinated. We've done what we needed to do. And it's time now to lift these restraints and let parents make the choice for their children. Otherwise, parents are going to make the choice to move to a different school district if you continue to push your agenda on our children. And congratulations, Dr. Bales. I am very, very happy to see that you understand that there is a big community divide and that the community has lost trust in this board. And we need to bridge that trust. I saw that you previously had the masks on the agenda for today, and it was to instate for next year that you already wanted the mask mandate in place until you deemed that it wasn't necessary. You are abusing your power, completely abusing your power. You need to serve the will of the constituents and serve our students and our families and our taxpayers. And we have rights, and we have chosen, we want to choose what's right for our children and their health care. And it's enough. This community is broken. This school district is broken. You have lost enrollment, and you need to get us on the right track. You need to build trust, and by doing so, giving us parental choice and being very clear as to what's going forward in the next school year so that we can make the decision if our children are going to remain in this district.
Sorry. Next card is Jennifer Crowning. I hope I pronounced that right. Apologize if I did not.
Good evening, Superintendent and board members. As the state mandate requiring masks in public schools has been lifted, I am respectfully requesting that you make masks optional in PV schools. Masks were a temporary mitigation strategy to reduce transmission of COVID and to prevent severe infections until vaccines could be developed. Thankfully, multiple vaccines have been developed, all of which are proven to be highly effective in preventing transmission of COVID and in development of severe infections. As a result of the excellent leadership and coordination of Dr. Lee and Dr. Bales, all PV schools employees were offered the opportunity to be fully vaccinated by mid-February. Vaccine distribution in Arizona has been so successful that all Arizona residents aged 16 and older have been eligible to receive the vaccine since late March. Due to these crucial developments in preventing COVID-19 transmission and severe infections, masks should now be optional in PV schools. It should be up to each individual and family to decide whether to continue using masks. The long-term physiological and psychological effects of masking children have not been studied. Therefore, no parent should be required to mask their child now that vaccines are widely available and effective. Many say that masks should continue to be required because the guidelines say they should. However, the same guidelines that are being used to justify requiring masks would not have permitted PV students to return to in-person learning in February. Fortunately, guidelines are not requirements and are not legally binding. Guidelines are simply factors to consider. Dr. Lee wisely considered all the relevant factors and used common sense when developing the plan to return PV students to in-person learning in February. I am now asking for you to give the same consideration to making masks optional for students in PV schools. Hopefully, PV schools has learned from the mistakes of last fall when the district waited too long to resume in-person learning and quickly shut it down again after only a few weeks. These decisions were driven by putting all emphasis on the guidelines. These decisions also caused over 2,000 students to leave the district for other area schools that were offering in-person learning. Continuing to make masks mandatory in PV schools for next school year will cause many families to look to other nearby schools that do not require masks for students. Thank you for the time and consideration.
Thank you. The last card I have for call of the public is Lindsay Rates or Rats. Again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing.
You nailed it.
Oh, thanks.
Tell me when. Okay, so I was going to start with mine, but the irony of my entire frustrations is I can't seem to get a straight answer on just about anything. And as recent as today, I was told 3 separate things. My fiance is a teacher in the school district. He works at Horizon. He is not here. He's out of state. He coaches wrestling. I asked about his statement being read. They said if I could find, anyways, was told 3 different things to find out that no, you guys could take it. It would not be verbalized. So that kind of is going to affect the way mine is going to be received. But this is the way it's going to be. My name is Lindsay Rates. I'm the mother of 2 teens and the fiance of a teacher and wrestling coach at Horizon. I'm also a huge advocate for mental health as it's deeply impacted my life, both directly and indirectly. I began reaching out to our school August 28th. 6 months later, I am beyond frustrated and extremely disheartened with Horizon's admin as I have followed the chain of command to only be met with dishonesty, complete resistance, with no other solutions, suggestions, answers, or help provided, and a huge waste of my time, as I have 2 teens with 12 teachers at that school. It is now April 22nd, and nothing has been mitigated or unanimously implemented to ensure PVUSD employees from your code of ethics makes the well-being of students the fundamental value of all decision-making and actions. On the contrary, the governing board decided mitigations were best set in place to ensure the well-being of adults, such as extended paid leave, half-day Wednesdays when kids are given work to complete for the rest of the day, additional time off for vaccines and adverse reactions, mental health resources since October, on-site support, additional resources, etc. I can go on and on and on. They have all been at your board meetings. You're all aware of these. I strongly feel, which I don't disagree with, but there's 0 that have been implemented for the children, period. There are optional. I'm aware of your remediations and the SEL program. Those are optional, not unanimously implemented. I strongly feel Horizon's administration and the governing board have done a huge disservice to our kids, especially our teens. Here are some facts. There's a huge increase in anxiety and depression, increase in missing and runaway teens, increase in substance abuse or substance use, increase in suicidal ideations and attempts, increased family distress, divorce, lost family members, financial security tension, decrease, and a huge decrease in sports participation. Some of the solutions I suggested were missing / late assignments accepted for full credit and get rid of the eligibility rule. The consistent responses I received were students need to be held accountable. Academics is the priority, while athletics are a privilege. Basically everything straight from the pre-pandemic handbook. First off, students are the only ones being held accountable. Will remain no accountability.
I'm sorry, but we've hit the 3-minute mark.
Like I said, because I heard three separate things. The one there's a 13-year-old boy, my fiance's youth wrestling. There is another 20-year-old who went to Paradise Valley and won wrestler 2 days ago because he's on. That is what I was told. He was told in front of my speech. Forgive me for going over my time, but they deserve to be spoken and heard about.
Ma'am, if you could, I know you talked to a few people today, but if you could follow up with Mr. Long, who is Assistant Superintendent for Secondary Leadership. I know he can provide some resources for you and some indications on things that we're doing and answer some more questions for you. Thank you.
I do want to apologize. We had another card, Mr. Jackson. It got stuck to another one, so I missed it. So Eddie Jackson.
Good evening. I'm a resident and father of 4 children in the district. Welcome to the 402nd day of 15 days to slow the spread. The governor has dropped the mask mandate for K through 12 schools. Over 2.6 million vaccines have been administered in Maricopa County. My kids can go to the grocery store, church, restaurants, and play sports without having to wear a mask. Yet they can't set foot on the school parking lot without wearing a mask. One lesson of this school year is one size does not fit all. You closed the entire district on November 23rd, and we quickly learned that PV schools did not contribute to community spread. So the question is, when will PV's mask mandate go away? What measure are you seeking before you allow students and families to choose for themselves whether to wear a mask or not? Why are you still forcing elementary children to wear masks when outside and on recess? When the AIA dropped their mask mandate for high school student athletes in early March? My family moved into this district from out of state because we felt it would provide excellent educational opportunities for our family. However, if you don't move quickly to set reasonable objectives to remove your mask mandate and make masks optional, we will consider other educational opportunities. It is silly that we are in here. I'm sure many of you people have been to a restaurant and you take your mask off. We're inside this building right now. Everybody is socially distanced, with the exception of these people right here. And yet our masks are on. It's ridiculous. It's absurd, and it needs to stop. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to offer my comments tonight. I'm going to start in reverse order because I think, well, let me read my comment. How's that? You should have received my communication to families and staff that was sent out Monday evening. As a reminder, we'll be honoring our commitment to our mitigation protocols that are supported by the CDC and health officials, which include wearing masks through the remainder of the school year and throughout our summer programming. I want to thank those who have reached out to thank us and support this mandate, but we also have had those who would like us to make masks optional. We understand the challenges and inconveniences associated with wearing a mask while on district property. Trust me when I say we all wish things were different. but the health and safety of our students will always be our number one priority. We have also received questions regarding masks at the start of the new school year this fall. And I think some of you were alluding to that also. Dr. Bales, incoming superintendent, and I have had multiple conversations, and we are both very optimistic and hopeful for a return to some normalcy where masks will be optional. We will continue to monitor federal and state medical guidance as it pertains to masks, as well as other mitigation strategies. With less than 20 days left in the school year, I just hope and I ask that we can all come together, support our efforts to keep our students safe and healthy so that we can finish the school year in a positive manner as we celebrate the successes of our incredible students. Now I'll return to the first part of but I hope that answered some questions for you. Unfortunately, at this time now, but I am happy to follow up if you want to call my office.
I have emailed.
Yeah.
I just don't know if any of you are checking into the health risks of wearing a mask for extended period of time, which, they're claiming there's asbestos and hazardous materials in some of these masks that could actually cause health issues.
Okay, I'm sorry, but based on open meeting law, that we can't have a dialogue going.
This week is This week is National Volunteer Week and recognize the contributions of our volunteers. Parents and community volunteers are invaluable resources for our teachers and students. PV Schools is fortunate and grateful to have dedicated volunteers who motivate and inspire others by giving their time, their knowledge, and heart to support the school community. So thank you to all of our volunteers. I would like to remind everyone that registration is now opening for summer programs offered through our community education department, as well as PV Online. Additional details are posted on the district website and our school websites. And finally, our assessment department will guide parents and students through the college and career planning process during a virtual presentation on College and Career 101, an introduction of college and career basics on April 28th from 6 to 7 p.m. Additional details are posted on the district website as well as the website of middle schools and high schools. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we are moving to items for approval. And first is consideration approval of administrative employee actions. Dr. Bales.
President Greenberg, Governing Board, Dr. Lee, Cabinet, and online guests. Tonight we bring to you a recommendation for the position of Director of Fine Arts. Ms. Maureen Minnick currently serves as the Assistant Principal at Paradise Valley High School. A graduate of Horizon High School, Ms. Minnick earned a bachelor's degree in music for vocal performance from the University of Arizona. Actually, she was classically trained in opera. She also earned a master's degree in secondary education from Arizona State University. Before her assignment at Paradise Valley High School, she was a dean of students at Pinnacle, an 8th grade teacher in IDL at Mountain Trail, and a kindergarten teacher in Seoul, South Korea. We recommend Maureen Minnick as Director of Fine Arts effective July 1st, 2021. If approved tonight, she would receive salary and benefits consistent with the Central Office Administrator's Agreement, and she is here with family.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bacon. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
My husband Brian, our 3-year-old is maybe still watching, come home with grandparents tonight, and obviously many PV high school colleagues and friends. So thank you very much. I'm very excited.
Thank you.
Next, we bring to you a recommendation for the position of Director of Marketing and Communications. Mr. Matthew Droege currently serves as the Marketing and Communications Manager, or PIO, with the City of Glendale here in Arizona. His prior experiences include marketing and media relations for Gary County Schools and public information officer for Riley County Police Department, both in Kansas. We recommend Matt Droege as Director of Marketing and Communications effective May 3rd, 2021. If approved tonight, he would receive salary and benefits consistent with the Central Office Administrator's Agreement, and he is here with family.
Hold on. Mrs. Bacon, may we have a motion, please?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Welcome.
I'm here with my wife Anna and son Brian, and I'm excited to join Paradise Valley students. Thank you.
And I think we're just going to keep
I will
sending it
stay
back
with
to
you.
Dr.
President
Gales.
Greenberg will stay right here with me. All right. So item H2, A through F, we recommend approval to the changes and additions to the contracts to the contracts for each of the groups: continuing certified teacher, probationary teacher, ESP exempt, principal, and administrator. These contracts are templates that you're approving. The highlights in document backup material indicates changes for dates and such, as well as contingency language. And we recommend H2, A through F for approval.
So we're doing them all together for this one. Okay. Mrs. Bacon, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And now to... No, I didn't. Sorry. And now we're on to H3. Thank you, Dr. Bales.
Item H3A. All right, the first item is for the Paradise Valley Support Employees Association salary, benefits, and terms of employment for the 21-22 school year. The salary and compensation package for this group is 1.2%. A step is applied to the salary schedule. The ESP exempt will receive 1.2, and in lieu of a step, employees currently on step 37 will receive lump sum of $250. Returning members for PVSD support employees will also receive a flat amount, prorated by FTE. We have a couple of changes in revisions to grades for a couple of positions, and the contingencies language, as mentioned earlier, is consistent with all groups, and we recommend approval.
Thank you very much. We actually have a yellow card addressing this part of our agenda. Sean Webster.
Thank you, Governing Board, Cabinet, and Superintendent. I'd just like to thank District for the opportunity to be in the bargaining process. We are very proud of what we came out with such a small budget this year. We ask that you please, PVSCA was able to ratify with 100%. Yes, there were no objections this year. We also would like to thank the district for giving a one-time flat amount for return to work rather than a percentage. That showed a lot of value to our ESPs who are on that lower end of the percent. So we ask that you vote in favor for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Bacon, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Mrs. Matura?
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. I know this is a long process. I know there's a lot that goes into getting 100% is amazing. But all the work that goes in from the administrative side and from our groups, all being able to come together, I really appreciate all the work that goes into it. I appreciate the support of the community that allows us. It's a small budget this year, but that we have the ongoing support of our community. So I appreciate that. But everyone that made this happen, I just wanted to say thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Matura. Seeing no other comments, all those in favor of approving the contract for PVSCA, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Dr.
Item
Bates.
H3B, the terms for employment and salary benefits for the Paradise Valley Education Association. Also a 1.2% to the base and a return to work flat amount prorated by FTE. I'd like to extend my thanks to the PVEA, PVSEA leadership in the IBN process, and we also recommend approval for this item.
Thank you very much. We do have a yellow card for this one. I will call on Susie C.
President Greenberg, Governing Board, Dr. Lee, and Cabinet, thank you for allowing me to address you tonight on behalf of the certified educators and PVUSD. We are teachers and counselors, specialists in reading and math, coaches, mentors, professional specialists, such as psychologists, speech language pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, vision and hearing specialists, social workers, and teachers on a variety of assignments, including this one. We come together in October to complete an extensive survey that elicits the concerns and interests of everyone in our diverse group, members or not. From there, the bargaining team works with the executive board to read each and every comment, try to distill and concentrate the interests, and then share them with district leadership while they share theirs with us, along with the realist of realities, the state budget. Beginning in January, we spent several full days together going over the issues that the certified group has taken from the survey. We weigh them against the realities. We share stories and interests and possible solutions until we come to a consensus. It isn't always easy. It definitely isn't always fun, but it's incredibly rewarding. And by the end, we always come together. I'm so proud to be able to report that this year's bargaining agreement was ratified at a 97% approval rate from the certified group. What this shows us is that the trust that the membership has in the bargaining team and in the district, and their willingness to bargain in good faith and always do the very best to maintain and improve our working conditions, continue to make the best pay and benefits that we can, and hold on to the greatest and most dedicated staff in the state. I appreciate that you bring us to the table every year for this process. I am grateful, and I would ask you to approve our contract this year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Bacon, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Dr. Bales.
Thank you, President Greenberg, Dr. Lee, and board. Moving on to item H3C, a small but mighty group, our executive assistants. We also provide a 1.2% base increase and one salary adjustment based on market trends and experience. And we recommend approval for this group as well.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
All those, is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Dr. Bales.
Thank you. Item H3D, the salary and benefits and terms and conditions for the Paradise Valley Principals Association. Our workhorses, alongside their colleagues, teachers, and support staff, have really trudged through the last year together. And we're excited to also recommend for them a 1.2% increase as well as a return to work amount. And we have some salary adjustments for this group as well based on experience and market trends, and we recommend approval.
Thank you very much. May we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Next item, H3E, we recommend approval of benefits in terms of employment for the central office administrators also. 1.2% base increase for the employees of this group and a return to work amount of as well, consistent with the other employee groups. A couple of adjustments based on market trends and experience, and we recommend this group for approval also.
Thank you. May we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
And finally, for the last group, cabinet level members, consistent with previously mentioned groups, 1.2% and return to work amount as well. Contingency language, all the same. We recommend approval.
Thank you. May we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Any discussion? Okay, I just want to say now that we are at the end, my thanks as well to everybody. I think we can all see that we have many groups, and that's a process that Dr. Bales and his team have to go, are working with all of our groups. We appreciate the ratification from our two larger groups. And I appreciate that I can't say for as long as I've served on this board, but almost as long as I've served on this board, that we have had a process that has involved everybody, that we are able to work together as the team that we are. And I know that before I got on this board, it wasn't always necessarily that way. And I appreciate that we continue to grow this process and expand and improve this process. So thank you, Dr. Bales.
My pleasure.
Everybody else. So if there's no other comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, and we have all of our contracts approved. Excellent. Next on the agenda is ratification of vouchers. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
All those in
Just a
favor?
minute, President Greenberg. Ms. Barrican has a suggestion on this item since we're only 3 board members tonight.
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and probably move it to the next meeting since it's on here with the ASBA item. So it's ratification.
Okay.
Just next time it'll be thick.
So we are tabling
Yes, please.
this. Okay, we will table this ratification of vouchers and bring it forward at our next meeting. Next on the agenda is consideration approval to award RFQ 21020, and I will turn that over to Mrs. Berrigan.
You have before you this evening, President Greenberg and governing board members, the project to the Pinnacle High School Performing Arts Center and the renovations there within. And the project total is projected to be $8 million. I think we had a question maybe previously and just want to make sure you're aware that if they need any use of the Performing Arts Center like we have done in the past, the other campuses will be willing to lend theirs out. And no, there should be no disruption from that perspective.
Thank you. May we have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there any discussion or question, Mrs. Natura?
I did have a question because I know when we were looking at the North Canyon project, Mrs. Case had brought up, and I just wanted to bring forward again, the fact that if we have any usable items that we've outgrown their usefulness, but yet another organization may find use in those items, are we upcycling those things as opposed to adding to the landfill where possible?
Yeah, they do not go to a landfill, Mrs. Matura. Chase will make sure that they work with a recycler, and then the recycler have various options. They may, pull apart the pieces for the recycled materials deemed necessary. They may resale them to somebody who wishes to have those items if they're still in working condition. So they'll have a few options. They do not go into a landfill.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And Mrs. Berrigan, I just want to ask, this is a bond project?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So this wouldn't be possible without the approval of our voters.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions, comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Last on our list of items for approval is acceptance of gifts and donations. And again, we want to thank all of our donors. We very much appreciate your support. I'd like to mention a thank you to the Thunderbirds Foundation, which gave $1,000 to boys golf and $1,000 to girls golf at Shadow Mountain High School. And so if there's anyone here who is a donor or can pass on our verbal thanks, we want you to know how much you are appreciated. And with that, may we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have item for discussion, which is consideration and recommendation of our K-8 social studies adoption. Dr. Corson.
President Greenberg, governing board members, Dr. Lee, cabinet. Tonight, Lynn Hoppus and I will be presenting the first reading of the K-8 Social Studies Curriculum Adoption Committee's Recommendation for social studies curriculum resources. This recommendation follows changes in the social studies standards that Arizona passed in 2018 to stay current with social studies instruction and position our students to be more successful in this academic area. We're pleased to share with you the committee's recommendations this evening. Our committee consisted of 12 K-8 teachers, along with 3 administrators and 5 parents, representing a broad section of our district. We appreciate these members' commitment to this process, and many of them are viewing from home this evening.
Our process began in August with a call to committee and submission of comprehensive proposals from vendors. In October and November, our committee met to review our process, establish communication strategies for our stakeholder groups, and set rubric and evaluation criteria for our selection. Using the evaluation criteria and rubrics, the committee selected vendors and recommended which would move forward. In January, due to COVID protocols, vendors presented their curriculum resource materials in 30-minute videos that could be viewed by district staff and community members. As a result, we had more participation from staff and community members in providing feedback. In early February, the committee met to take a deep dive into feedback provided by stakeholders during the video vendor presentations. The committee then recommended which vendors needed to provide materials for teachers and students to use. Teachers, students provided feedback from these few weeks that was collected and shared with the committee. In late March and early April, the committee met and reviewed the rubrics and additional feedback to make their recommendations to the governing board. Throughout the process, the committee evaluated the curriculum resources using a comprehensive rubric. The 2018 Arizona Social Studies Standards provided us with the opportunity to select materials best aligned to the vision of these new standards. We were also looking for engaging and meaningful content using the inquiry approach. In addition, if available, resources that could be delivered in Spanish or Mandarin to support our dual language immersion programs. Even though our core knowledge schools have specific curriculum resources for social studies, the committee also wanted to ensure that these materials would support our core knowledge schools as well. In addition to alignment to the standards, we used additional criteria to evaluate resources that included the quality of print and electronic resources for scaffolding of concepts and skills, embedding of critical thinking and creativity tasks, and differentiating for such groups as gifted and students with disabilities. Diversity, inclusion, and equity. For example, our rubric included indicators such as inclusion of diverse examples of social scientists and historians, including women and members of underserved populations with whom a range of student groups can identify, and offer meaningful opportunities for social studies learning experiences to value, respect, and connect to students' home, culture, and community. Robustness of training and consultation plans to support teachers before and during implementation. The criteria we used was instrumental in analyzing the resources. As a result of the thorough evaluation of curriculum resources and stakeholder feedback, the committee agreed on the following recommendations. You will notice the number of resources for each grade band or level is different than the usual single vendor selection. With the new standards being adopted in 2018, most vendors have not aligned the entire K-8 grade band to meet our criteria. The committee recommended multiple resources to meet the needs of all the grade band standards. Excuse me. These recommended resources engage students in inquiry-based learning that is aligned to the vision in our new standards. For K2, McGraw-Hill Impact is a student-centered, comprehensive, and coherent knowledge-building program that promotes students' understanding of the world and their individual place in it. Through engaging inquiry-based learning opportunities, students discover how to think historically, civically, spatially, and economically. The resource also supports our DLI Spanish program. Studies Weekly was for K5. Studies Weekly is a standards-aligned weekly resource that introduces and scaffolds students' experiences with the skills of inquiry, creating their own inquiries, examining and analyzing evidence, communicating conclusions, and taking action. This resource also supports our DLI Spanish program. Excuse me. For grades 3 and 4, Splash, which uses the inquiry approach, providing our 3rd and 4th grade students hands-on activities in addition to creative, expository, and persuasive writing opportunities. For 4th through 8th grade, the DBQ project, DBQ standing for Document-Based Questions. The DBQ project is a standards-aligned document-based program that helps students develop rigorous critical thinking and evidence-based writing skills in the social sciences and literature. Through the in-depth lessons, students read, analyze, find evidence, defend their findings, and publish their conclusions. These life skills are necessary for all college and career citizens. This resource also supports our DLI Spanish program. Discovery Education for 5th through 8th grades. Discovery Education supports a standards-based comprehensive curriculum and uses an inquiry-based format. Through engaging reading passages, digital explorations, and an interactive atlas, students learn to read, write, and think like historians. Additionally, Discovery recently released the Financial Literacy Channel to support the new personal finance economic standards. This resource provides content in Spanish and Mandarin to support our DLI 5th through 8th grade programs. For the 6th through 8th grade band, in addition to Discovery Education and the DBQ project, we recommended Newsella. Newsella publishes high-interest nonfiction articles daily at 5 reading levels for complexity. They provide daily news sources and respected nonfiction publishers to bring teachers new content every day, such as news, current events, famous speeches, primary sources, and biographies that are curated from eminent nonfiction publishers such as the Smithsonian, National Geographic, the Big History Project, and Encyclopedia Britannica. This resource also supports our Spanish DLI 6 through 8 program. The committee is recommending the governing board adopt these resources that integrate meaningful opportunities for our students to learn social studies by providing support as they engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate civics, economics, geography, and history. Project-based learning opportunities and connections to the real world are evident in these resources, qualities that will inspire our students to be curious and knowledgeable of our country and the world we live in. Preparing our students for contemporary society cannot be accomplished without the resources and opportunities for our students to make connections between historical and current issues. Students will recognize and practice their roles and responsibilities as both American and global citizens. We believe these resources provide those core disciplines. Our committee believes in high-quality social studies instruction for each student, and the curriculum resources we are recommending will help achieve that goal. Thank you. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Maturi, you get to go first one time.
Sorry. I just had a question. It looks like for most of the resources, we're looking for a 7-year adoption period, but for a few, it's looking just for a 3-year adoption period. Is there,
Yes.
what is the reason for some having the shorter?
Yes, Ms. Matura, I believe those resources are targeted at the 3rd grade level, if I'm not mistaken. And part of the reason for a shorter adoption for those is many of our publishers have not caught up with aligning our Arizona State content at the 3rd grade level. And so what the committee decided is to take a shorter adoption for that 3rd grade level to allow our vendors to catch up with providing some resources for that. So at the end of 3 years, we'll be looking again for some specific materials at that particular level.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I just want to thank the committee and everyone who put in. I know these committees are a huge amount of time goes into them. So thanks to everybody who participated, parents, teachers, and of course, both of you. Thank you.
He's having sat on a K-6, I think, social studies adoption committee once upon a time. I well understand the work that went into this, and I appreciate not just the work, but just the thoughtfulness behind all of what you guys looked at in terms of, what is going to support our students in the best way possible with this adoption, not just let's pull that material in. The thoughtfulness really does come through, and I just want to thank you all for that.
Thank you.
So, anybody else? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That was the last item on our list for discussion. So, Mrs. Bacon, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We are adjourned.